Hello and welcome. I decided to inaugurate the channel and do a video where I will put everything that the developers have said, either in Discord, in their website, or in Twitter, about the next updates we're getting on Corepunk in the next few months at least. Make everything into a video, neatly organized, and also later on the video I will show a roadmap where I've done and put everything in a timetable to see which update comes next and what comes in that update. I just like it. It's a nicer way of seeing the things, and I thought that people might like it too. So here we are. We're going to talk a bit about the changes, and at the end I will just show you the roadmap and see what's coming. I want to make sure that you know that I'm not associated in any way or form with Corepunk or Artificial Core, and all the dates speculated at any point in the video are based on the approximate dates that they have given us. Nothing is confirmed. There can be delays or cancellations, and it is what it is. So after that, I made y'all a little presentation with especially the questions from the last AMA that I had on Discord, where they gave a lot of answers and things that we're getting in the next few months. So let's dive into it. Oh yeah, I put this just before starting the video. I realized yesterday when I was streaming and leveling up my alt that the episode 1 has actual quest location now, or whereabouts for the quest. So I can actually show you. So if you go to the map, and then, if you click a quest and you want to collect Timberheart, it will actually show you where it is. I just didn't know this, and I thought that people didn't know either, so I just made this quick incision on the video, and now we'll go on. So, what do we know for future updates? So the first question that we got in the Discord AMA is the aggression system. I think what he means here is the aggro system. The fact that things keep aggro for like 6 screens away, and that they just want to make it better. And you don't have, a wolf doesn't have to follow you until the next city until it drops aggro. And then you keep pulling more things and they keep pulling. And then sometimes you're seeing someone getting chased by wolves and the wolf just turns around and slaps you in the face for random reason. So apparently this has been fixed. It just didn't make the last patch notes, but it was fixed with the last update. So good, GG, fixed, next. So the next question was about having gold deposited in the bank, so you can share gold between your characters. So they are working on this and planning to release this feature in this week. So might be tomorrow, might be Thursday. Tomorrow's Thursday. Might be tomorrow, might be Saturday, or whenever. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention at the beginning of the video that all these are organized in a way where the ones early in the video are coming soon, and the ones later in the video are coming later on. So if you're looking for the auction house like I am, you should go late in the video. Anyway, next question is a really interesting one because it's the dungeons. It's the end content of the game. So they've already mentioned the first dungeon they're going to release, or instance they're going to release, which is the PvP PvE extraction mode. This is the typical high risk, high reward from games like Escape from Tarkov or Hunt Showdown, but in an MMO. You go in with 15 other players. You can get valuable resources, probably like purple materials or maybe even gear. We don't know, maybe artifacts, maybe runes. We exactly don't know what you're getting. There are NPCs that you've never seen before. We don't know if they're shops. They give you buffs. They're used for extraction. But what we know is that you lose everything when you die. So once you die, you lose everything in your inventory, but not only that, everything you have equipped is lost as well. So I feel like this is very risky, especially for MMO, because you spend hours, especially on this game, gathering the resources to craft your gear, and then you might lose it all because you get ganked for versus 1, because you have the best gear. So why wouldn't people target you, right? If they see you, they will target you. We don't know if you can go in here solo or with parties. I'm assuming both, but honestly, this makes me feel like I want to go naked in. Like do naked runs where I just go with no gear, try to get as much as I can, like 3 resources, and it's already worth it for me. And I get out, I can either sell them or trade them to different players for the things I actually want, or it's always a win. So I don't know if there can be like a tax for dying, or maybe a tax for entering. You have to pay X amount of gold to actually go to this instance, but we will see. I feel like everybody will just do naked runs and ignore each other and farm. Unless you're really into the PvP stuff, maybe you just go in with, I don't know. We'll have to see. It's weird. No one has done it, I think, in an MMO. We'll have to see how it develops. But the next thing they've announced is they're going to release a battleground. It's just instance PvP, probably team versus team. Not much else has been said. I'm assuming it's going to be similar to other MMOs like World of Warcraft, where capture the flag or capture a zone and defend it, stuff like that. We don't really know. And finally, they've said they're going to do 2 PvE solo, which is interesting, or party dungeons. Why is this interesting? I think it's interesting because solo dungeons are not something I expected. Because you are almost forced on parties since the beginning of the game. Well, not the beginning. Since level 10. The level 10 onwards questlines, some of them are really hard to do on your own. So they almost force you to group. And then late game, when you're like level 20 and doing bosses and stuff, there's, well, maybe if you're a shaman, but you need to group. So now maybe their chain of thought is that all the instance content you will be able to queue on your own. So you can go on the extraction island alone, you can go on the battleground alone, and then they will just make the dungeons so you can do them alone as well. I think this is a good thing. Obviously, because if you, well, the game is either very lonely, not necessarily because it's dead, but there hasn't been a long time without an update. People tend to drop from games, especially MMOs, when there's no update. And then, you just feel like playing, and you might not find everyone for a lower level dungeon or for some dungeon that you feel like doing, and it's nice that you can do that solo. It's also mentioned that all of this will be released before the guild system that they talk about later on, which in theory releases in spring. So expect all this to be released before June, which I guess is the last month of spring, half a month, if they can keep up with their schedule. I feel like it's a little bit optimistic, but maybe they have a lot of these things already prepared or halfway baked. So we don't know. But the next thing is the classes. So we already know that the first class we're getting is a defender. Probably around the same time as we get the extraction PvP, PvE mode instance thing. Defender is a classical tank, sword and shield, jumps in and taunts, throw the shield to damage, and actually the ultimate is a zone where if you're behind the defender, you take reduced damage. And I think defender reflects all their damage backwards, like again against the objective that did the damage. Sounds good. Probably better for PvE than PvP. But yeah, we knew this already. But now this is news. Commando is the next promised spec to be released, and if they can keep up with their schedule of 1 spec a month, this should be released in January. Knowing Defender will be in December, and then Commando in January. Commando is the third spec of the Warmonger. There will be ranged heroes with a minigun, like probably heavy artillery, slow heroes with a minigun, but they will have no cooldown. They will use an ammo system where they have 4 ammo, and using abilities will deplete the ammo. And once you have no ammo, you have to reload. I think base reload is 4 seconds, but it's affected by attack speed, so probably you can lower it. And then his ultimate is, you take out a tripod and you put your minigun somewhere, and all your abilities are buffed, and you have a lot more range. Not something I really particularly like, because being stuck as a turret is never good in any MMO, I think in any mode, in PP or PvE. And the reward for getting stuck should be so high to make it worth it. So I don't know, but maybe they find a way to make it work, and it's amazing. I'm just not very convinced about it right now. And finally, the last spec we got confirmed is Grenadier. This is the last spec for the Bomber, which this will mean that all the heroes that we have right now will have their 3 specs released, and the next that we have not yet known now, that they have not confirmed yet, will be a new hero. Either the Paladin, the Mercenary, or the Pyremaster. I feel like it's Pyremaster, but I'm not 100% sure. Anyway, the Grenadier are range heroes, plasma guns, bombs, obviously, bomber. And I think they will just do burst damage. Their ultimate is reset all their cooldowns. So I'm assuming the class will be all about throwing all your cooldowns, clicking ultimate, throwing all your cooldowns again. Every 30 seconds you have this ultimate at max rank, of course. So I feel like you will have every 30 seconds a huge burst and then pretty much be useless maybe for like 20 seconds, and then again have a huge burst. Anyway, I'll make a video about these 3 classes a little bit later on and go more in detail and in depth, maybe look at their builds and the possibilities and yada yada. If you're interested in that and I'm able to tickle your fancy, you don't hesitate and subscribe. It's a nice thing. So next question that we have is actually the guilds. When will the guilds be implemented and how will they be? Like member limit, shared banks, rights, ranking within the guild, ranking between other guilds, and a logo or a banner. And they've answered that the guild system will be implemented during spring, but after the 2 PvE dungeons, like we mentioned before. So we'll have to have like 3 updates where we get the extraction mode, then the battleground, and then the 2 PvE dungeons. And after that, we'll get the guilds. They said that the member limit will be 50, and we will have a shared bank, and then a logo, and a right system within the guild. So you can, if you're the admin of the guild, you can give people access to the guild bank or not, or you can give access to moderation. They've also said that later on, they will have a ranking between all guilds and a possibility to declare war. This is a kind of a vague answer. What is a war? But I guess it's a PvP, large scale between 2 teams, sort of like a battleground, but an actual battleground with teams. Like you don't go solo queue inside. You actually are there with your guild. Is it going to be in a city? Is it going to be a defending guild and an attacking guild? We don't know. Nothing has been said. Maybe they're just economical wars, and see who can sell more in the auction house in a day. I will like that war. Anyway, we go on, and this is where we go to the stuff that has not yet gotten a release date. So someone asked for auction house, and they just answered the hardest soon TM on this list. We will see. That's their answer. They have to check how everything goes. They want to fix and eliminate leaks on the economy and on the balance and everything. So it's just, the answer was pretty much, when it's ready, it's ready. And then they will release it. It's a fair answer, I understand. I just was sad because I really expected this to be implemented sooner. I am very interested in the economy in MMOs and in the world of MMOs, and I think it's a really important part in MMOs and their worlds to not have for a long time. But it is what it is. And this question was very connected to the next, so I just put them on the same slide. And it's pretty much the last question that we have, which is the gathering and crafting mastery trees. The ones that you cannot unlock yet in the talent trees. They said the same thing. They said that they are gonna be released at the same time as the auction house, and they will impact the economy. And they also they will grant bonuses to the professions themselves, like better gathering, faster. Maybe you can crit gathering. But something that is interesting, they will have perks for sustain during farming. So when you lock a gathering, it spends mana. So maybe they will remove that somehow with this talent tree or whatever. And then evading pursuit from mobs, so you don't have to pull the whole family of boars when you try to get a plant, which is nice. So now these are all the questions they answered in the AMA in Discord. And I made, out of all of these and their news on the website, I made a little roadmap, and that's here. What you see here is what we know we're getting. And everything has been said to be here and happening before spring, or before summer, sorry. So the first update which is pretty much confirmed to be in December, hopefully before Christmas, is the new extraction island, the Defender Champion spec. The Defender spec for the Champion hero, and the shared gold in the bank. Then, this is an assumption, but I'm guessing we will not get an update in January, but if they can keep up with their schedule of 1 spec a month, we'll get the Commando in January, which is nice. It's the minigun guy. Then on February, we'll get the winter update, which will get the Battleground or the Grenadier. Then on March, we'll get a new hero with a new spec, Pain Reaper, that's the name. So a Paladin, a Pain Reaper, a Mercenary will be released. And that's probably on March. And I think on April, we'll get the 2 PvE dungeons, a new spec again, if they can keep up once again. Then May, a new spec, and then early June, we'll get the last update that we know of, which is the first iteration of the guild system without the wars, since they said that will be added later on, and a new spec. I assume the new spec will be all from the same hero. So let's say they release the Paladin. Pretty sure they will release the 3 specs from Paladin before they actually go into another one, because it's easier. You don't have to redo the model, and some abilities can be recycled for the other spec. Not exactly the same, but you already have a starting point. So I think it's going to be like this. Then we have down here to the right, there's a picture I will put on the description. If you ever want to like save it or use it for later on, you can use it. But yeah, here is the Zoom TM list, the things that they have mentioned that they will have in the game, but that they don't know when. So that's the auction house and the talent trees for gathering and crafting. Again, I want to remind you that all these dates have been speculated upon. Obviously, they have said that all instance content will be released between 4 and 5 months. They have said that guilds in spring, but after dungeons. And then they have also said that they spec every month. This is assuming they can keep up with that schedule. But this is all I have to share with you right now. I'm really happy that you got here in the video. And well, if you enjoyed it, come join me in my streams or just subscribe to the channel. It will help a lot. Thank you, GG's, and have a good day.